Welcome to the Black Delegates podcast. Today's date is September the 17th, 2018. This is episode... What episode we on? 32?
32.
Let's make up a number.
Episode 32. 32. How y'all doing, fellas?
Good, man. Good.
I have with
High
me...
and dry over here. High and dry over
High and
here.
dry. I have with me Ghetto Phenom.
Yeah, man. Back another week. Appreciate y'all for listening. You could be listening to any podcast right now, but you are choosing to listen to us, and we are much appreciative for that.
Yes, sir. And Wine Papi.
I'm here. I made it. I was gonna be on injured reserve list, but I made it this week, so I'm here.
Is your house floating or nah?
House is not floating. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but yeah, house is good, man.
All right. And I am the Black Ryan. So glad to be with y'all again. It's another week, fellas. Let's see. House cleaning. Let's do that stuff first. You can reach the Black Delegates podcast at theblackdelegatespod@gmail.com. If you want to email us, you can email us there. And social media wise, Ishmael, where can they find us?
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Black Delegates. There's an underscore between Black and Delegates. We are also on Facebook at Black Delegates Pod.
Black Delegates Pod.
Yeah,
all right.
Man.
And so, feedback-wise, did we get any feedback this week? I didn't see any 5-star reviews. So, kind of a little upset with the people. I know y'all want to give us 5 stars. We got to work harder for these 5 stars. Maybe that's what
you got to earn it. You got to earn it. You can't beg for it.
Fine.
Ain't no handouts. You got to earn it. But yeah, we did get a little bit of feedback, and I'm going to have to get up on my social media game because we've gotten some comments on the gram and things like that that I haven't talked about before, so we're going to try to talk about those this week. So number 1, I'm going to shout out G-Boy, most requested on Instagram. He left a comment just saying dope content, so we appreciate you for rocking with us on that. The second feedback that we got on the gram comes from the homie out in NY from Ghost and Big G. Ghost, he sided with you, Ryan, when we talked about Nike Tyson. Ghost, he said you can't be picking up the strap that quick, man. He said you can't do it. Let me get to his exact comment. He said, I agree, can't be pulling out the strap like that. Not a smart move. So Ghost is riding.
See, that's why I listen to their podcast, man. They some respectable, they very smart dudes. They know what's going on, man. They know what's going on in the streets. That's my dude.
Yeah, I bet that Big G though would probably say get the strap, because I was listening to them a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about how he was.
But he was trying to relax them. He was trying to relax them.
The truck driver. Yeah, him and the truck driver were getting into it, so I bet Big G.
No, because he caught himself at the end, and he was like, "No, I'm not gonna do it." He said he thought about it. He was too old for that.
Yeah.
So shout out to him, man, for being a bigger man.
Right at the end, but during.
So you think if he had a strap, he would have pulled it out.
Grabbed the strap. Yeah, Big G would have grabbed the strap.
Let's not act like pulling out the strap has not been a consistent favorite in the streets. It's been a consistent favorite for many years, and will continue to be a favorite. Pulling out the strap.
Right. And let me get to the last piece of feedback. And this one was one of those personal feedbacks. People I know that listen to it, they come and tell me what they think about it. So
oh boy,
there were 2 things that they commented, and actually the main comment they suggested. That the Black Ryan needs to change his name for the next 30 days.
Here we go.
Right, Ryan.
Is there anything else?
Hey, I'm just
here we go.
And the suggestion
go ahead.
for the name change for 30 days, they said the Black Ryan is hereby denoted as the Whack Ryan. And there were 2 issues that this person had that made them put you on that.
Hey, I'm gonna let y'all know before you read these. The inner Joe Budden is hype right now. I've been waiting on this.
Yeah. So number 1, it was the issue with the Black Hero. They said The man was a hero. He was justified in pulling out the strap. So they said you were whack for not siding with him. The second issue that they had with you, which actually I referred to in our group chat a little earlier, they said they didn't like when you said black women shouldn't date light-skinned dudes with green eyes. They said they wasn't feeling that. That was colorism, and they wasn't rolling with you on that. So they had two beefs. So they said the black Ryan is now the whack Ryan. It wasn't me. I'm just passing along the message.
Hey, yo, all I can say is I'm happy because I'm holding my breath the whole time Ish is talking because I just know that smoke is coming from me. And thankfully, I avoided the smoke this week. I'm sure I'll be on the list again by whoever is reviewing these shows and giving this feedback.
I enjoy the comments. I would like to hear from the listeners.
I'm glad I dodged a bullet. Ryan, you're
I don't want to just be talking into this microphone for no reason. So I appreciate your time and effort and even telling him that. But I don't think that I said it like, don't date these dudes. I said, ain't y'all learned? A little bit different.
That's the same thing.
And I recall I said that was 8/10 of my entire game. So
right.
So hey, it is what it is. I stand by my comments, sir or ma'am.
The dude does look a little shady though. I mean, just the way he looks.
Hey, still
looks
is.
shady. So
and we'll see by the end of this season. Am I correct? I'm sure I will.
Well, this episode we didn't even talk. We're not even talking about this week, I guess. But yeah, I saw the last episode with the storm and everything like that. So I'm hip to this. Yeah, the dude's already acting up funny. We're at that thing. We just do that at the end. Yeah, that's all good.
But let's go and get into it, man.
All right. So this week in blackness, y'all weeks. Do we need the randomizer, or does somebody want to volunteer?
Man, I might as well go ahead first.
Twice.
I got a little bit to talk about.
Paul.
All right, let me do it, man. So, I'm gonna go ahead and start this off first, saying my week was Al Roker Black for sure. So last week I told y'all, the storm was coming, the storm of the century, Hurricane Florence, bearing down on the Carolinas. That was Sunday we recorded. Man, all week this storm was coming. And basically my whole week can be summarized by that. That meme of Steve Harvey where he's like laughing with all 87 Steve Harvey teeth shining on the one side, and then the other side like he's like pondering and like looking really serious and contemplative. That was basically my whole week right there, because the whole week I was there joking on the storm, and I was like, ain't gonna do nothing, this storm ain't doing nothing, blah 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 blah. My wife kept watching the news. It finally started getting in her head. She talking to me about, man, we need to go get a generator. Should we go get a generator? Do we need to go stock up on supplies? Do we need to do this? Do we do that? Do you think we should be going somewhere? Family calling us. You guys want to come to Kentucky? You guys want to come up to Virginia? You guys want to come to Tennessee? No, I don't want to go nowhere. I want to stay in my house. I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to drive 10 hours away for some stupid storm. So a whole week I'm thinking this storm ain't going to do nothing. Thursday comes, man, it's just like a little bit of wind. I'm like, man, this storm ain't doing nothing. I keep telling my wife, ain't nothing happening. Friday comes, still no rain, just a little bit of wind. I go out there and bring in some like lawn furniture, still nothing happening.
I talked to you Friday and you was talking that smack. You just like, man, ain't nothing finna happen. I'll be all right.
Man, it looked exactly. So Friday, nothing. Man, Friday it hadn't even rained yet, and so I'm like, and then plus the storm was like a Category 2 or something like that, and it was way far away. And I was like, man, ain't nothing gonna happen. This is trash. But Friday, I got supplies, so we just chill. I'm just like, we're gonna just stay in the house all weekend. No big deal. School's canceled, all that stuff like that. So I'm like, whatever. Saturday rolls around. Saturday morning, I get up. It still ain't really raining. It's just barely starting to miss Saturday morning. And I'm like, man, this ain't gonna do nothing. It's not strong wind. It's not heavy rain. And then so it finally starts raining like into Saturday mid morning, and it starts raining and it rains all day Saturday. And I'm like, okay. Cool. I'm like, all right, well, it's finally here. But I was like, it's really not doing nothing. But it was just moving so slow. They said it was moving like 2 miles an hour or something like that. So Saturday night, everything's cool. Sunday morning, that's when all hell broke loose, man. Because it just rained all that night. And it wasn't really hard. Like, it wasn't never like, oh, man, I can't go. I'm too scared to go even step outside in this rain. It was just like a typical, summer storm. It just lasted for 2 days, just never ending. By Sunday, man, all hell had broken loose. I'm up on there on that next door app, man, trying to figure out where to go. There's flooding over here. People are freaking out. People talking about oh man, there's looting over here, and there's this over there. This road's wiped out over here. There's a sinkhole over here. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Meanwhile, we get a leak in our roof, a tiny leak. I shouldn't even like really complain about it. It was like the tiniest of leaks you can possibly imagine. But it did a little bit of like damage to the drywall on the inside, so I gotta fix that in a couple of days. But that's all good. But man, yeah, it actually ended up being a bad storm, man. Like I was like, it wasn't really strong. It was really a punk storm. But man, it moved so slow. It just caused so much rain. So yeah, we had a lot of flooding in the area. My neighbor had like a little bit of his roof, like some shingles or like the side kind of yanked off. I had a little bit of leak in my roof. I'm sure other neighbors had the same thing, but man, people died out here like maybe 10 miles away from the house. Like a mom with her little kid. I don't know why they were driving because we had a curfew last night, a mandatory curfew for the entire county. Driving through there, she decided to go around a roadblock. I don't know where she was trying to get to. But got swept up by the water, man, supposedly, and then like the little boy, like a year old, got killed, got swept away by the storms. And last I heard, they hadn't even found the body yet. Wow. So I was like, man, it just really puts it all in perspective, man. So basically, I'm talking too long, but moral story is I'm taking these storms seriously. I never really like lived close to like hurricanes before. I never really thought much about them. We'd get them like remnants of them in Tennessee, and I'd be like, okay, it's just hard rain for a couple of days, no big deal. But I see now like what they're talking about, so I'm like, okay, even though I don't live right on the coast, I'm definitely gonna take it serious next time. So yeah, the storm definitely punked me, and my wife was telling me the whole weekend. See, I told you. And look, we didn't lose power, thank God. We did lose internet for like 4 hours Saturday, so I couldn't watch like football. And I'm glad I did not pay for that fight ish because I would have been just basically lost out on $90 if I had bought that fight. So I'm glad I did not make that move. But yeah, we lost internet connectivity around like 7 o'clock at night, and I don't know, it wasn't on back on until the next morning. But hey, at least it was on, so I won't complain about that. We had some friends that lost power for like 2 days, and that sucked. So man, that was it, man. We straight here. Storm was definitely more than I expected, man.
So do you still have podcast beef? You wanted to air that out? You got something else to say? You still got beef? You said you had beef with me about the picture.
About what picture? I can't remember now.
Okay, see, now he don't remember. See, Paul was talking big stuff because you put up the picture in the group me, and you say, "Hey, this storm, F this storm." When we get back on the podcast. And keep in mind, I'm thinking, this is Paul. I just talked to him. He said he was fine. I'm looking at the picture. It looked quite lovely. It looked very comfy, except he had a tiny bucket sitting next to a smiling couch. Because he had the little kid couch that smiles and plays songs when you sit on it. And so I'm thinking, hey, everything's fine. You got a bucket and a mop. How bad could the hurricane be, brother? So I put a LOL, and my man basically cusses me out and tells me, oh, we going to have podcast beef.
I've learned from other podcasts that the more beef you have on the podcast, the better the ratings are. So I'm trying to hype this up. So yeah, Ryan, we if I see you, it's on site.
You was all like, oh, when I see you, though, you shouldn't be LOLing. There's nothing funny about this. I'm like, dang. Wow.
No, I'll just mess with you, man. But yeah, man, that was like, man, y'all know I'll be getting up super early. So like, the wife put the kid. Like, I just decided to get up that morning, like at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was gonna go work out, and so I was like, let me just go here and sit down for a minute. So I sat down in our little TV room, and I kind of like heard like a little bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Looked over there, and that's when I discovered like the little leak in the ceiling. I was like, oh man. So I moved the couch, the chair that was sitting over there that got soaked with water actually. Put the bucket down. I'm like, man, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I know. It's like a little. It wasn't like the roof. It was like a bay window. So like it's not. It doesn't go all the way up. It's like 10 story. It's like 10 feet up or whatever like that. So I knew I could get to that area of the roof and like check on it. But it's 4 in the morning and it's a hurricane outside. So I'm like, man, I'm not going out there right now. So I just had to sit there and wait till like daybreak, but I couldn't wait that long because it kept coming. And I was like, man, let me see if I can go up there and get some plastic on this before I wait too much longer because it just kept coming down. So about 5 o'clock in the morning, I get out there on the ladder in the middle of the hurricane. It's pitch black, man. I don't know what's out there. It could be snakes. Ain't no telling what's out there, man. I don't know. It's just coming down so hard. I got my glasses on. I got my pajamas on with like a rain jacket on.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Did this dude say he turned into Tim the Toolman Taylor in the middle of a hurricane so he can go stop a drip in his roof?
Drip, yep.
Dog, if that ain't some white people stuff, I don't know what is.
If you don't stop the drip, it's going to keep going. It's going to get worse. You got to stop it.
It's a hurricane.
It was not a strong hurricane. It was a weak ass hurricane, dog. It was weak.
You don't go climbing on the roof in the middle of the dark. Right. Come on, man.
I'm not saying I'm a smart man. I'm just saying this is what I felt like I needed to do. And so I went up there and I was like, look, man, I'm protecting this house because I know if I let this sit there for like a couple more hours, it could get worse. It spread worse. And fortunately, I plugged it, man. I went up there. I really thought I was going to fall, like slip off that ladder or something like that. And I was going to fall like 20 feet to my death.
Am I in your wheel? Am I in your wheel somewhere?
You are not in my wheel.
Come on, bro. Something.
And after that LOL, you definitely ain't in my wheel.
Dang.
What are you talking about? Ish, I'm leaving all these microphones to you, man. All these trash microphones I got, you got these.
Mr. Steal your friends. Stolen again.
Of course. Anyway, how was your week, Ishmael?
My week was pretty basic, man. Not a whole lot going on. I'll try to be brief. Let's see. Me and the wife went down to the Balloon Glow here in St. Louis. They have, a balloon race that goes on. So Friday night, we went down there, met some other folks down there, some friends, just to watch them light up the balloons, hot air balloons.
This is the whitest thing. Every
I've
week,
been down there
this is the
before.
whitest
It's cool.
thing you do.
It's pretty cool.
Well, and it sounds hella white, but the fact is, it's hella black people down there. Like, it's all type of people down there.
Because it's free.
It's free.
They get in. But do they get in the balloons though?
Oh, no. They let people get in the balloons, and that they don't take you up.
Do
in the
black
air,
people?
But you can get in the balloons and just ignite it or whatever. So you see the flame go up. So they let people do that, and you can take pictures. But really, it's just a bunch of people outside just watching them light up the balloons. So wife and I, we took the train down there. All our other friends tried to drive, which is
that's a bad
just
idea.
a bad decision. Yeah, because there's no parking. Matter of fact, it was one couple that they just circled around the park for like an hour and then just ended up going home.
Like
that would have been me. That would have been me if I got invited, dog. I don't do that parking stuff, man. I'll be like, I'm out.
Y'all got a train or like
no,
it's
Metro.
Metro.
Yeah, light rail system. It's not a subway,
okay.
but yeah, light rail system. So
Gotcha.
Other than that, Saturday had a church picnic. That was pretty cool. Everybody, black church out up in the park. Got to throw a football around. Don't get to do that often, but every year at the church picnic, somebody bring a football. So I got to show off the cannon.
I knew it.
How many touchdowns did you throw? How many touchdowns did you throw, Al Bundy?
Oh, it wasn't a game. It
70
wasn't a game.
touchdowns.
It was just throwing the football back and forth, So I still
Did you take a knee?
Off.
Did you take a knee before the hat?
There was no anthem. Come on, man. It wasn't no anthem at the black picnic. So, but that was about it, man. Just being out and about on those 2 days, the Balloon Glow and the church picnic. So neither of those is, I guess, super black, but both of them are pretty black all the same. So
Ryan, it strikes me as the type of dude that just like in the back of his truck, he just has like a pile of shoes in a bag, like different like golf shoes for in case this happens, axe throwing shoes in case this happens. Yep. Just always prepared so he can so he can always show and prove to all these people out here, whatever the sport may be, football, basketball,
pretty much. And he keep his trophies sitting up in the back of his window too.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he polishes them too. He polishes them regularly.
Definitely.
So what about you, Ryan?
My week was, I'm gonna call it Fred G. Sanford Black. It was my wife's.
Pretty black.
Yeah, pretty black. First off, I want a birthday shout out to my wife. Her birthday was on Saturday.
Oh,
so it's my wife is older than you, dog. Turned a big 40. I didn't realize that. I always thought she was a little bit older, but yeah. Good. So we got a chance to hang out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday during the daytime without the kids, and it's been a long time, bro. It's been a long time.
West Pipes in the building.
Ryan missed that. He missed that innuendo she was throwing out. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Right over his head.
Okay, I remember. All right. Hey, but just let the record show the kids ain't stopped us from none of that. We good. They go to bed eventually. So, birthday shout out to her. Happy birthday, babe. She'll catch this episode probably in December. She's pretty far behind right now. She on like episode 20 or something. But got a chance to...
She's sick of hearing your voice, man. I can't blame her.
Two things.
I hear you for another hour a night.
It was Fred G. Sanford because I've been visiting some antique shops of late just because two things. One, I kind of like looking at old junk for some reason. Sometimes you see old stuff and you're like, what the heck is that? Or you see old stuff that you had or your parents had or your grandparents had, or just stuff you ain't never seen before. So I enjoy looking at that kind of stuff. And when you're in those type of situations, you run across some really interesting things. One, first of all, the antique environment is already an environment that says blacks not allowed. It seems that way. Nobody's ever said anything. Nobody said anything racist. I'm just saying when you go into a spot where it's mostly old white people, kind of look at you funny when you come in. And when you're looking at antique shops, flea markets, etc., I run across all these crazy racist pieces of art. And I've been sharing them in a group me the last couple weeks. I see the stuff all the time. You either got your mammies here and there. Everybody's painted black. They got the real big pink lips. They got watermelon that they're eating. I ran across the other day a magazine in St. Charles called the Pickaninnies magazine. Wow. Yes. Had a black person on the front. What was the other one, Paul? It was the Jigger Bank.
Oh, the Jigger Bank.
Yes.
And let's make sure that was with a J. Paul said that was with a J. Just to clarify.
Yeah. He's clear. The Jigger Bank. It was a tall and skinny black dude, like some kind of a little statue or something. See racist stuff like that all the time. So that's kind of how black it was for me. It's awkward, but at the same time, you wonder to yourself, would you really want to throw away all the racist art? Because it's still art, and it just reminds you of how bad it used to be.
Right.
I'm not really sure. What do y'all think about that? Should it be all burned in a pile, or should we just keep it?
No, it don't need to be burned. You put it in museums, or if antique places want to sell it, it is what it is. It is a part of history. So I feel like a lot of that should be in museums, or it should be in private property. I just don't believe it should be on government property. You shouldn't go to City Hall and see the Pickaninny or whatever sitting out there. But otherwise, it doesn't bother me like that.
Okay. So I thought I was weird. What'd you think, Paul?
My thing is just like, okay, I've been in a couple antique shops before. I don't go often. I don't like looking at junk. I don't like looking at new junk, for that matter. But like, I've seen a couple of things like you talking about, kind of this, very rural towns like that. But my thing is like, okay, well, they're in an antique store. Somebody's obviously gotten rid of their collection, or whatever, what have you, like that. But who is buying this? And so obviously somebody must still, even in 2018, people must still be buying it, because why?
People buy it because I see it at every antique store that I go to almost.
That's what I'm saying. So there must be a market for it. But who the hell has got all this stuff? And like, what happens when a black person has to come to that person's house and sees like the menagerie of mammies up in their living room, with big old things, old fried chicken and watermelon. Like, who is like? And I was like, oh, that's cool in 2018. Like, who is doing that? Because obviously whoever had it to begin with, either they died and they just sold off the collection, or it went into an estate sale or something like that, or whatever like that. But so somehow it made it to the antique shop. But now, like, there must be an aftermarket for it, so somebody must be buying this crap. But I just can't figure like who in 2018 is doing that. But I guess it's
ain't never been to a black person's house that had it. So what that mean? That mean white people buying it, and that's even worse. That's weird.
But you don't see it like, I don't know.
I don't see it, but I don't be at white people's houses either, so I don't know.
But like, people like you hear about like the lawn jockeys, like, for a long time. And maybe I think maybe I've seen a couple of those like once or twice way back in the day, like somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But like, you don't see those no more. I don't think. So like, if they do own them, they're in their house, inside the house, I'm guessing.
But they're in their hidden racist room. You think where
maybe there's only like a couple hundred like real races, and they just buy all that stuff. And so like that the antique dealer's just waiting for that one super racist dude. Like, I want your entire inventory of all your mammies. I need them all. Give them to me.
Maybe there's a black market for racist artwork.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there has to be.
Crazy.
A white market, not a black market. White market.
I like it. Yes. So man, I wanted to talk about the zoo, man, but it's a long rant, and I don't want to have to shorten myself on time. Maybe I'll save it. For
We've never stopped ourselves from going on long rants during our week in blackness. So have at it.
Nah, I'm gonna stop myself. I can't do it because I don't want to. I'm gonna do it another week because I probably won't have nothing to say next week, and then I could say, well, I talk about that zoo trip.
And y'all zoo is free, right?
Yeah, it's free. It's free.
That's crazy.
That's why. Talk about that, but we'll save it. We'll save it.
Okay.
All right. So let's get into these stories, fellas.
Let's do it. We actually talking about rap for once. I like this.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some rap.
But we're talking about white rappers.
That's right. Well, white on white crime / rap.
White rhyme.
Oh, I like it. You should have named it. White on white rhyme. Killshot versus Rap Devil. MGK versus Eminem. Don't know whose story this is because you ain't put your name on it. So
it definitely was not me. So.
Ishmael, go ahead.
Yeah, well, this does not really need that much of an introduction. It is what it is. So everybody knows that Eminem and MGK Machine Gun Kelly had this little beef that has come up over the past couple of weeks. I guess it started like 6 years ago, 2012, when MGK said something about Haley in a rap. Then Eminem, when he dropped his Kamikaze album, had a couple songs where he threw shots at Machine Gun Kelly. So then MGK dropped Rap Devil, and then Eminem just this past week dropped Killshot as a response. So Ryan, I know you're a big Eminem fan, you're a big Slim Shady fan, so I want to know your thoughts about it first.
Well, I listened to MGK's, I listened to Kamikaze, I guess, first. Enjoyed the album. Thought it's one of Eminem's better albums lately, of course, because the last few albums have been trash. And but other than that, then I heard the follow-up, Machine Gun Kelly. I had heard of him. I heard of him before. Not so much as far as anything that I liked. So he wasn't really on my radar like that. But I thought it was a solid diss. I enjoyed the gray sweatpants, that he was tired of seeing his gray sweatpants. I appreciated the chorus. As far as his disses go, man, you can get out of here with that. You old. I'm so tired of hearing that from these rappers. If that's all you can say, dogs, just keep it, man. Like why? Everybody, because everybody gets old.
Some kind of way, like you're old, so
no,
that makes you feel that
kind
of way.
Yes, it's exactly the reason.
Because it's lame.
It's not lame.
If you got to diss somebody, why is the only thing you got to say is that they old?
If you a 20-something-year-old rapper and you beefing with somebody that's 40-something, you have to say you're old. Like that's the prerequisite for that beef. You can't not call them old.
The only times it's cool if you say you're 40 and broke. That's one of the classic ones. If you're 40 and broke, you could say it. But if you're just saying they old, man, get out of here, man. That's whack. But anyway, Machine Gun Kelly, mediocre diss. Heard the Eminem response to that. Thought it was pretty good, pretty quippy. He had some good lines. I only listened to it a couple times, though, so it's not like I can repeat it line for line. But I thought it could have been better, too. I was expecting better, but maybe M's holding back. He's just playing with him. But that beat, I would say, was kind of whack. What'd you think, Paul?
What, on the Killshot?
On Eminem's response to the response.
This is the dumbest thing. Like, I mean, look, the Eminem album was good. The Eminem album was good. Like, yes, he has had some subpar albums recently. He's like Kobe. He's like Michael Jordan. He needs like somebody, like, even if there really is nobody like hating on him, he needs like to make that up.
Right.
He needs that extra motivation. And anything you do, any perceived slight, he just takes that. He takes off and runs with it, and he needs that to get it. He needs that, and he needs drugs to have his best performances. And so he's off the drugs right now. So he needs these thinly veiled shots, and he just turns them into molehills when they're really not. And so yeah, he got a good album. And this whole MGK beef, I really don't care. I listened to the Rap Devil because y'all made me to a few minutes ago, and it was garbage. It was straight up ass. I mean, like, I think I could have made a better rap than that. I mean, he kept talking, like, the whole rap, he's just talking about, like, how you're in his top 10, you're the greatest rapper of all time. Like, how can you, why are you battling against the dude? Yeah, you can't compliment and diss him in the same song. It's trash, man. So and then he's just talking about crazy. I mean, I'm not saying none of the stuff that he's saying is not true, but it wasn't. It didn't move me. It's not. His delivery just ain't there. I mean, M just can flip things and do things that this dude just can't compare. So I mean, it's not close. I don't think anybody really cares in the day. It just adds on to it. And I think personally this whole thing is just all contrived. All this Nicki Minaj, Cardi B stuff. Eminem versus MGK. This is all manufactured beef. This is all just like we're talking about. This is podcast beef. It's podcast people beefing with each other to get their numbers up. Same thing goes on in the rap game. That's all it is. Until somebody pulls out a gun and really gets something going, then it's all for show.
Of course, we got to pull out the strap.
Right.
You got to pull out the strap.
Hashtag get the strap.
God. That's right. Hashtag until the strap comes out. This is all for fun and games. And these two dudes is definitely for fun and games. So I ain't trying to hear that mess.
All right, well, here's my take on it. So, when I first heard Rap Devil, Ryan will recall, I sent a message, I think, on the group text, and I was like, dang, MGK kind of bodied M here. Now, I hadn't heard Kamikaze yet. I hadn't heard the songs on Kamikaze yet. And so this was my first. This was the first time. Those
words have never been used in one sentence.
He actually said that. He said he bodied him. I was like, word.
I'd ever heard MGK. I knew who he was. I knew he was an artist, but I don't listen to him.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, this is a solid diss. And the thing with me about disses, when you're in a battle, part of it has to be believability. And everything Machine Gun Kelly was saying was believable. He also,
that's true.
I thought he had some good shots in there. The beat was dope. I thought his flow on there was dope. Now I did go, after that, I listened to some other Machine Gun Kelly songs, and they was all trash. So I'm not a Machine Gun Kelly fan at all. Like I listened to 5 other songs, and they were terrible. But
man, I wouldn't have made it that far. I would have made it through
trash Machine Gun Kelly.
Hey, but this song, I thought
2 out of 3
hard.
delegates agree.
So then when M came back with Killshot, I listened to it. And I'm like, okay, and M, he has that lyrical ability. There's no comparison when you're comparing them on what they can do lyrically. But I just thought song against song, I'm going to listen to Rap Devil a lot more than I'm going to listen to Killshot. Part of that, Ryan, like you said, was the beat. I thought part of that was just his energy. Like I said, it was personal for him. When I look back at that Nicki Minaj, Remy My Beef, Remy won because it was more personal and it was believable. I don't know if Nicki Minaj butt exploded, but it was believable.
Sound true to me.
Said it. Right.
That sounds very believable to me.
So all this stuff MGK was saying about M trying to, calling the producer and telling him to apologize for a tweet and calling Diddy and even the old Joe. I like the little old shots. So I'm giving this one to MGK.
What? And man, this is after listening to Kamikaze and listening. Come on, man. The stuff he said on Kamikaze was even better.
Between this and Terrace House, I'm never listening to another ish ever again. Right. Ever. In my entire life.
I'm
ever.
Disappointed right
this
now.
Is it.
Kamikaze was trash. The one he did with Royce of 5'9", Not Alike, that was dope. But I didn't consider that because I don't think that was only at Machine Gun Kelly.
Nah, it was everybody.
Like, I'm just taking the 2 songs directly against each other. Out of those 2, I thought Rap Devil went harder. I thought Rap Devil was a better diss.
Okay. All right. Well, let the record show that he also in Rap Devil mentioned Joe Budden again. He just mentioned him now.
No, Killshot. Rap Devil was MGK.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Killshot.
This is all set up for
if you keep on poking that bear, that is Joe Budden. My man, he might not have sold a bunch of albums, but you don't want to battle him.
Planned.
You don't want to battle him.
I agree.
It probably is planned, and then he go get back in Slaughterhouse, and then they're gonna start do this all over again. Probably, but
I mean, like let's be real. Like
Joe might get him.
Joe Budden's got the new show on Spotify. I listen to like I said every single one, and now they're at 2 times a week, so I love that. So I just listened to one Saturday, and they're talking about this issue. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, Joe Budden's never been hotter than he's ever been right now. So this makes perfect timing. I mean, Eminem's got a hot album. He's out there. He's hot again right now. And then Joe Budden's hot. So yeah, Joe's got to have some reply.
Eminem's album ain't really that hot.
I don't think it's hot either. I don't think it's hot either because
the first half is solid. The second half, it falls off a cliff.
No. I'm gonna say I like it. I like it.
I'm not saying I love it. It's better than it's been in a while. I mean, it's not. It doesn't compare to his like first 3 or 4 albums to me. I mean, but the Ringer, the first song, the Ringer, like that. That's a classic. To me, that's a classic battle.
There's a lot of dope songs on there. It's also it's a few Eminem songs on there where he Emineming. He need to get those off of there. But you can make you a pretty dope playlist. Get you a pretty dope playlist.
Y'all heard a comedian
MGK and Joe Budden both said in the past 10 years, M ain't been bringing it. He need to hang him up. What did MGK say?
That's
like,
a fact.
Put your pen up or something like that. So
That's
the fact that we having this discussion where Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly are going toe to toe, even if you say
they're not going toe to toe.
Yeah, they're not going toe.
That means he got to retire. He got. It's
I'm saying that
Eminem, if you want to take shots at me, go ahead and do it, because I'm ready for you. If you want to come for the black delegate, I got bars for you, son.
And I'm telling you, if you diss my boy Phenom, then Mossberger Mason gonna come out of retirement too.
Mossberger Mason. Hey, look, man. Again, Eminem, he needs motivation. Like nobody wants to test him. Nobody real out there wants to. This Joe Budden thing is the closest thing he's gotten.
His only problem has been that he's bored. He's just bored, man, because his lyrics have never gone away. He was rapping in accents because he was so bored. He's just trying to do new stuff, man. Like, dude is still a genius as far as lyrics go. And you don't want to push him too far. Now he might not have no content for the past 10 years because he was bored and being a dad and all that kind of stuff. But come on, man, don't be stupid.
I mean, as far as rappers, he should be in everybody's top 5. But as far as lyricism, he is undisputably number 1. I mean, he can do anything.
That's a fact.
I don't know.
That's a fact, man.
I'm gonna agree with that one.
I mean, I'm talking about pure lyricism.
Right.
Pure lyricism.
I'm not gonna go that far.
I mean, people be out here. People be talking about Pharoah Monch. They be talking about Black Thought and all them, and then you be like, man. But I'm telling you, M will eat up everybody, man.
Yo, he would. I'm a side with MGK.
And
the beard.
I like
the beard
Royce. I think Royce is up there, but
the beard is weird, man. Let's move on.
He does need to lose the dad hat. He does need to get a different type hat. I will get Eminem's outfits have always been trash, man. The big he was wearing the fleece velours and the do rags. Like that whole. Like don't look to M to be a style
fashion
maven.
advice.
Don't do that.
No fashion advice.
No.
All right. Here we go. So let's get into a more serious topic, people.
No.
It's been a long time since a black person was killed, but now we got to talk about this. Murder or manslaughter. Anybody that's been following the news have heard the story of the Dallas police shooting. Where was it? Officer, what's her last name?
Guyger.
Okay.
Guyger.
Officer Guyger was some kind of way at an apartment building, which she claims was hers. Stumbled into said apartment some way, somehow. That is still unclear. This is the most confusing story I've heard in a long time. But some kind of way she ended up thinking it was her apartment, coming in and shooting this young man who was in his house sitting on the couch.
Botham Jean. Yep.
Botham Jean. So,
Jean.
rest in peace to him. But let's see, Ishmael, maybe you can give us some extra explanation, I guess, of what happened with that.
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing, and this actually happened before we recorded last week. I think maybe the day before, but it was so new, I didn't really want to talk about it. I wanted to wait till we got some of that information fleshed out. But like
really
you said,
changed.
It has been very confusing, and especially the way that the Dallas police have handled it. They didn't arrest her for 3 days. It was clear that she killed him. She claims that, or at least the official story from their end, was she thought she was in her apartment. She saw this shadowy figure move. She gave him commands to stop. He didn't, and so she shot him. But there have been a lot of things that come up since then that make that story seem a little sketchy. Number one, Gene had a big red placemat in front of his door, and she didn't. And apparently he had that there so people wouldn't mistake the doors because they all look the same in this complex. So that's number one. Number two, they said that the door was open already, but there was a resident that posted a video showing that the door automatically shuts itself. So it's a lot of sketchy things. There were also witnesses that said that they heard her banging on the door saying "Let me in," which if she thought that was her apartment, why would you be doing that? On the door saying "Let me in" before the gunshot. So a lot of it seems fishy. The fact that the Dallas PD didn't arrest her for 3 days, she was only arrested for like an hour, or she was only in custody for an hour, posted bail, has been out. They searched his apartment and released, of course, on the day of his funeral that they found weed, but they never searched her apartment, and she's now moved out of that complex. So the whole thing is just fishy. The fix is in. At least they're trying to do whatever they can, but I don't know. What do you guys think about that stuff? Or Paul, I guess you haven't talked yet.
Man, like, first of all, it's a tragedy. Here comes alt-right Poppy, but so just get ready for this. But it's a tragedy, man. Like, this lady is wrong. Whatever she did, it's gonna be involuntary manslaughter more than likely, man. There's no way that they're gonna give her murder in the first degree for sure. Murder in second degree. If the police do give her murder in first degree and second degree, they basically going to get her off. That she's going to get off, and you're going to
you don't
just
do
like
murder.
The Baltimore
you
thing.
never do murder on these accidental.
Unless this chick. Unless they were in some kind of relationship, which that was a Twitter rumor early on too, along with some other stuff, which all seems to be. Not saying what the information issue supplying is bad, but there seems to be a lot of like talk and chatter and stuff that may be incorrect. We don't really know yet. But like at first they were talking about like, oh, they were in some kind of relationship. She was banging on the door trying to get in.
Yeah, that must have been her. That's not true.
That's it. Right. So that was unless that happens, this is manslaughter. She's gonna get it's either gonna be voluntary or involuntary. That's the big decision. But either one, you're talking about 8 years max. So more than likely something like 3, because she never had a record before this. Obviously, since she's a cop. So she's not going to get a lot of time if she does get charged at all. So I'm hoping they do not charge her with any kind of murder, second-degree murder, first-degree murder, because she's going to get off and she's going to get no time. She definitely deserves some time for this.
Well, remember when they charge you with murder or something, all the other things below are usually included in that. So you can be charged with murder but found guilty of manslaughter. So while I do agree that you don't want to overcharge, you want to charge with what you can prove, but it is possible for them to charge with murder and the jury come back and say, okay, it wasn't murder, but it was manslaughter.
Can they do that? I don't think they can do that.
I think the prosecutor still has to bring it up, though. Like it has
they have to bring it up. I don't think you can.
They may have to charge with multiple counts.
Right.
Maybe they have to charge with manslaughter and murder. But I think that.
I think you have to pick one. I'm gonna have to look it up.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it varies.
I think you gotta make your distinction ahead of time. I don't think. I mean, if so, every DA should just throw the book at every single person to say, okay, we're gonna charge you first, second, third, and whichever one sticks. That'd be
but you can't
really
do
tough.
That. Yeah. So
I don't think you can do that.
The thing in this story that bothered me is they went to a judge somewhere, and they got a search warrant for the victim's home. Now, I understand that this is a crime scene, so whatever is there in that living room that you get a chance to, tag everything, bag everything, whatever you're supposed to do as a cop going through those procedurals. Now, but what I don't understand is why at any point would a judge be like, what would be their grounds for a search warrant to search this man's house? Because as far as I understand, the initial what everybody said was she thought she was entering her own apartment and this happened. Well, so if you thought that this was not a police call, there was no reason for her to be there other than that. So why are we searching anything?
I personally think you got to do your due diligence. I mean, that's me. Okay, like I mean,
he wasn't committing a crime. He wasn't committing a crime when she came in.
He was not committing a crime. The only crime that was committed was this lady walking into his apartment, shooting him.
Yeah,
that's the only crime. But that place was the crime scene. He did not commit a crime. That's a crime scene, and there's no he said she said in this because one person is dead and can't tell the story.
Right. Well, here's the
deal. You need to do your due diligence and get all the whatever is in there. If there's maybe there is text messages between this girl and that dude, and they had some kind of argument about a parking spot, or maybe they were dating, whatever. You need to know that stuff and just find it out. And my thing about this whole. I personally think this whole thing about the weed and stuff like that. I think that was. I mean, that was going to come out anyway.
I was going to read this list of what they found.
But the weed thing, I think that was his. That's that Crump dude, that lawyer. I think that's him trying to make this into a hype up the race issue. And I'm not saying it's not a race issue, but personally, they were going to do a search of that place because it is the crime scene.
Yeah.
So the dude happened to have a weave there.
The police said that they seized from the search warrant 2 fired cartridge casings, 1 laptop, a police vest, the backpack with police equipment and paperwork, 2 radio frequency ID cards, which I think is how your security badge to get into places, right? And then 10.4 grams of marijuana or half an ounce marijuana grinder, among other things, from his apartment. Now, keep in mind, because when I first read this, I was like, why he got all this stuff? But she was coming home, she thought, from work, the cop. Right. So she had a lot of that stuff. So the vest and all that stuff, that's her stuff. So that's not his stuff that was in his possession. Now, this 10.4 grams of marijuana, I don't know about that.
I think they're just doing. Me personally, I think they're doing an inventory of what they found. They found 10.4 grams of marijuana, but I don't think are the cops planning to use that as like to get her off. If anything, that's going to be her defense using that to say, "Oh, he was on weed." But that's what. But the defense is allowed to do whatever. The defense can say whatever they want to try to get their own client off. It's not like you can't say, "Well, okay, well he was on." If they want to say weed, that's on the defense. That's the cops. That's her defense. But is the DA going to say, well, we're not going to charge her with murder because this dude had 10.4 grams of marijuana in his own apartment? I don't think that's going to happen. If that does happen, I think there should be riots in the street. But that's not going to happen.
Just need the jury to think that she didn't do.
Yeah, that's what they want to do.
Or she had probable cause.
They're trying to poison the jury pool by portraying him as a criminal right now through the media, so that by the time the jury's there, they're not going to be as I don't know. They're just not going to have that empathy for him because it's going to be like, oh, here's a black drug dealer or a black criminal. Because look at it like this. So when they searched his apartment, number one, everything else is sealed that they found, but they released this information about the weed, But they were released under a Freedom of Information Act. The news, Fox News, released this stupid thing because they requested a Freedom of Information Act on it. Right, but everything else is still sealed. Everything else was sealed so that it could not be released through the Freedom of Information Act. If something's sealed, they don't have to release it like that. So I don't know. I heard that they didn't search her apartment. If they did, that information is sealed. They released that he had this marijuana on the day of his funeral. How ridiculous is that? And again, she was in jail for 1 hour. Then she got out. If they didn't search her apartment, like I said, she's moved out now. And then you even had the Dallas 9, they're calling them. They had 9 people that were arrested at a Cowboys game who were protesting this killing. Again, this is a black man in his own house chilling. Whether he's smoking weed or not, he in the house chilling. She comes in his house and kills him. These 9 people they arrested at the Cowboys game are about to spend their second night in jail. She killed a black man in his own house, and she did 1 hour in jail.
Ain't no way. So first of all, ain't no way you did your even in
2 days.
You didn't even do an investigation. You didn't do no investigation in 1 hour. You ain't even talked to all the witnesses in 1 hour. You don't know if she killed him on purpose or not.
Do we know if any of these neighbors that saying there was pounding and all this other stuff, or the door was locked and stuff like that? Are they going to testify?
Who knows? You would imagine, but I mean, at this point,
the one lady said, I read that the witness said that nobody talked to her. She had to call the DA because nobody spoke to her.
Yeah, they said the police. Yeah, the police didn't talk to her at all. And so,
which again, crazy. Are you looking for justice or are you not?
They're not, because it's against it's another police officer who's done this. They're trying to hold her hand this whole way through. Even if this was a black cop who killed a white woman, do you think it would have gone the same way? No. Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not.
So, just overall a sad story. I mean, we're still waiting on information to come out, and as it does, we'll keep talking about it. But man, it just bothered me that they were, searching this man's house and putting this information out there. They could at least stated whose stuff was what, Like, hey, we found this, but we know this was hers and this was hers, something.
And there could have been a
all Fox
legitimate
News,
reason.
though.
There could have been a legitimate reason for the search warrant because you do have to go in. You got to see where the shell casings are. You got to see if.
I don't think you have to search it if it's. You don't need a search warrant if it's a crime scene.
Yeah, you do. You still need to go through all.
You need a search warrant to go through everything else in the house, but the whole house technically should be it's an apartment. It's a crime scene. Somebody got killed.
I mean, after that, after he passed away, if they want to go back, they have to get a warrant or they have to get permission to go into the house. But the thing, and I don't know if this is true or not, so I'm not going to state this as fact, but what I read is that the warrant was about drugs. Like there was a warrant from Dallas PD, and I think it transferred to like the highway patrol, the state police. And
they said that what they were looking for.
That the warrant said they were looking for drugs. The fact that you have that means this is character assassination because you don't have somebody get killed and then your search warrant is, oh, we need to find the drugs in there. No, you need to find out what happened to this person.
I hear what you're saying. My personal thing is like it's 2018, 10.4 grams of marijuana
it's
when
nothing.
It's nothing. It's literally no weed at all. And like, if there's a juror out there in this entire universe that's gonna like swing this on this dude had 10.4 grams of weed, a 20-some-year-old dude had 10.4 grams of weed in his house, in an apartment while he's watching a football game, and that's the distinction between that justifies homicide.
All they hear is black
that person
man
need to be
drugs. Black man drugs. Has her toxicology report come out? Did they do a toxicology report? Because you imagine
that should have been the first thing done.
If you in the wrong apartment, they gonna see, are you on drugs? Are you drunk? But did they release that information? Oh, absolutely not. Why not? That doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. That you're taking a person who got killed and you're trying to release that, oh, this is weed, even if it's 2 grams of weed. But you don't say anything about this officer who did the killing? Come on, man.
I think she's going to spend some time in jail for sure. She's going to get a few years. It's not going to be 20 years. Anybody thinks she's going to get 20, 25 years it's not going to happen. But she's going to spend some time in jail if they charge her appropriately. I think that's deservedly so. She made a terrible mistake. She should never be a cop again, ever. And I don't know what the hell she thought she was doing walking the apartment. I don't understand why the door was unlocked if it was. Or how it all went down, but allegedly.
I don't think it was a terrible mistake. I think she did what she intended to do.
So you think she rolled up in there? You think she rolled up in there to kill him for
just
like
no
you think there's a relationship or something like that?
I don't think it was a relationship, but I'm not going to speculate. I just don't think that it was an accident like it's being portrayed.
Well, I mean, you speculating if you say that she did what she claimed to do.
I mean. You can't accidentally
and that's fair. I mean, we all speculate.
Somebody. You can't just accidentally shoot somebody unless you playing with a gun. You can't accidentally go to somebody's apartment. Right, you can't accidentally go to somebody's apartment and shoot somebody when your key doesn't open the door, when they got a mat, they keep saying, oh, she's so tired. She just worked a 12-hour shift or whatever, and she was disoriented. Yeah, but you were able to give him police commands and then shoot him in the chest.
Square in the heart, right. Yeah.
Hit him once,
I think my personal take of this is what we're going to find out. Like the dude had the door, maybe he was waiting on somebody to come, a friend to come over, so he had the door, like, just like in college, we used to keep our door, even though our door would lock behind us, we would keep it like, put something in there to kind of keep it open. She must have thought it was her or whatever. I don't know what the hell happened, but somehow she got in the door. I don't know why she would think that was her door. Yeah. But it was dark in there. Dude was maybe dozed off on the couch, half asleep or something like that, just kind of chilling, watching the game. And then I don't even think she probably gave any commands. She probably just saw a figure, got freaked out, had the gun right there, and pulled it out and just shot him. That's what we're gonna find out. And then she's gonna lie and say that she made these commands when she really probably didn't. She was just scared as hell and said like, "Oh crap, there's somebody in my apartment," and shot. And then she realized when she turned the lights on, like, this ain't my place, I'm in trouble, and started telling that story. That's what I think is gonna happen.
But my thing, if you got 2 witnesses already saying they heard her banging on the door saying "let me in," if that holds to be true, that debunks that whole story.
Yeah, but we got to see if that really is true. There's been so much internet rumors going around. We got to see what really if they're going to testify. I mean, if they're willing to testify that, then they need to be out. They need to demand to be able to be put on that stand and speak up for this man, And so we just got to see what happens, man.
I will say
say
that we have learned though over the however many years this has been going on, way back to the Mike Brown situation here in St. Louis, that whenever you have black witnesses that are saying something contrary to what they say happens, those witnesses all of a sudden what they're saying is always quote unquote debunked. Every single time.
Those witnesses are black though, but we'll see.
Well, if you got white witnesses, I guess your story is stronger, right? It's always been the case. Well, the white ones the white ones at the Mike Brown one didn't matter because they said that he had his hands up. So
yeah, I don't see how there's any way out of this one for this. I mean, I don't see how this can be second degree or first degree murder.
Yeah, it's gonna be manslaughter.
It's gonna be manslaughter, but I mean, I don't think I don't see. I also don't see any
we got to
way
remember.
to get out of it.
We got to remember what murder means, that you thought about committing this crime.
Premeditation.
Yeah, it was
right?
always premeditated, and anytime
there's
a police shoot,
murder, second degree murder.
Yeah,
but it's still
there's
still
different degrees of murder.
There is first, second, and manslaughter is third. But first and second, you still have to have premeditation. And so there's unless she was in a relationship with this dude, then there's no premeditation.
She doesn't know him.
I don't think.
And then you have to prove that she just wanted to shoot a black person. That's why would you would take if I think the laptop that they took in the search warrant was hers. But if it was his, that's what you want to look for. If I'm the prosecutor, I want the laptop or the cell phone of the dude to see, like, maybe they got in a dispute about a parking spot. Maybe they got in a dispute about, whatever. Maybe they knew each other some kind of other way. I mean, they obviously live in the same building. They may have seen each other. Maybe they saw each other in the gym and one used the treadmill too long and they got into it or something like that. Who knows? So you want to kind of do that due diligence to get the information. So I can see where they, as an investigator, you'd want to at least get that information through a search warrant. Now, I don't like how it was all leaked to the press. I'm totally with Ish on some of that stuff. It does sound a little bit fishy, although I have my suspicions. But at the end of the day, I think all this is like people thinking that she's going to get 20 years. I don't think so. More like she's going to get like 3 years, 4 years, 3 to 5 years more than likely max. And then that means she'll probably be out half that time, honestly. So people are going to be pissed off about that, but I think that's the way it's going to work, honestly. But as long as she gets time, that's the thing I want. She definitely deserves time. Yeah. For sure. And never be a cop again. So since we're running a little long, we're going to have to pick one of these stories.
Episodes. I say talk about them both, split it in 2 episodes.
So we're going to do one insecure review and then we're going to skip it?
Just do part 1 and part 2.
Okay. All right, so we're going to sign off then right now for part 1. For the time Nazis out there, y'all got under an hour. And then tune in next time, folks, for part 2 of episode 32.